certain region of the North Pacific, we see a sea of garbage in a sad scenario of environmental pollution. A research group, led by Sophia and her husband Chris, is on site doing a report on the immense polluted area known as the plastic continent. Suddenly, Jade and Juan arrive, informing Sophia that they have picked up a signal from the shark they have been monitoring for months, which is approaching. They quickly put on their diving suits and jump into the water while Sophia and Jade monitor from the control room. The four men approach something caught in the garbage and soon realize it is a baby sperm whale. Chris approaches alone to check and sees a huge bite on the animal. Suddenly, a shark passes by him quickly, scaring him. Soon after, several other sharks appear and begin circling the whale's body. Sophia informs them that she has noticed only female sharks there. Chris notices a certain nervousness in the animals and tells them to execute the safety protocol to move away. At that moment, Jade informs them that the signal from the shark they have been monitoring for months is also approaching. When the female shark they named Lilith arrives, they are shocked to see its enormous size. Now 7 meters long, Lilith was only 2.5 meters 3 months ago. Chris decides they should leave to avoid further risks, but Sophia says they need a sample, and reluctantly, Chris agrees. He approaches the huge shark and pricks it to take the sample they need. The shark then moves away quickly and violently, scaring everyone. However, the worst is yet to come. The shark begins circling the men rapidly and suddenly attacks. Their screams are heard by Sophia and Jade, who can only ask what is happening. Sophia then decides to do something and runs to the bow of the boat, seeing the blood staining the water. She grabs a harpoon gun and dives into the water to try to help her team members. She is immediately shocked to see her husband's arm in front of her. Without diving equipment, she takes a breath and dives again. Not wanting to give up and already in tears, looks around. Soon she sees Lilith slowly approaching. The animal circles her a bit, and Sophia, seeing she would be attacked, shoots the shark as it charges at her. However, the beast gets entangled in a fishing net and drags Sophia down violently. With the sudden change in pressure due to the high speed of the animal dragging Sophia further down, her eardrums begin to burst and she screams in pain. She then decides to react and quickly starts cutting the net that trapped her to the shark. By a miracle, she succeeds and, already bleeding from her mouth, reaches the surface and emerges amid the trash. 3 years later, by the same river in Paris, 2 random young people are fishing for objects with their magnet. Suddenly, they catch something that frightens them, as it is a bomb. Moments later, we see the city's bomb squad arriving, as the youths called them to hand over the object. Policeman Adil is giving an interview to the press about the find, stating that it is normal to find such things there and that the boys did the right thing by calling them quickly. They are soon called back to the base for a meeting. Meanwhile, in a marine sample center, a group of students is listening to a lecture given by Sophia. When one of the students maliciously asks if it was true that the group led by Sophia had been killed by a shark, it destabilizes her emotionally, and as she leaves the place, a young woman named Mika, who was also listening to the lecture, stops her and says she knows and admires her work. Although Sophia ignores her at first, Mika says something that catches her attention: Tag 7, the technical name they gave to the shark Lilith. The young woman claims to know where she is, and the two head to her private NGO with her friends. There, Sophia meets Ben, a young hacker who monitors shark tags. Mika asks her to show Tag 7 to Sophia, and they see that it has traveled a long distance and strangely arrived in the same river in Paris. Sophia says this is impossible because she would not survive in freshwater. But Ben explains that there are species of sharks that survive in freshwater, and Mika adds that due to the heavy pollution of her natural environment, she must have gotten lost trying to find a new place to survive. Mika then says they need to do something to get her out of there because they don't know if the shark could die staying there. She invites Sophia, claiming to know how to communicate with her, and invites her to dive with them to prove it. Sophia, outraged by such a stupid idea, tries to leave, but Mika tells her that the previous night, a driver had an accident and fell into the river with his car, but his body was not found. Sophia still decides to leave. At home, she thinks a little and takes her laptop to see some old files, a video of her teen before the tragedy. After crying while watching those happy memories with her now deceased colleagues and husband, Sophia decides to check the location of the shark they had been tracking and which she had given up on. She then confirms that the shark is indeed now on the Seine River in Paris. That night, Mika and Ben sail on the Seine and stop under a bridge to dive. Mika jumps into the water and starts looking for the shark. She sees the car from the accident she mentioned to Sophia earlier and notices that the car door has several holes in an unusual shape, looking like a large shark bite. Ben, above, notices that the police are arriving, so she starts pulling the rope tied to Mika to signal that they need to leave. However, Mika foolishly decides to release the rope to stay there. At that moment, she is startled by something passing very quickly around her. She decides to leave and is caught by the police, who take her away, while Ben flees. Sophia arrives and sees what happened from a distance. As Mika is being taken to the police station, the officers stop by the riverbank and hand some blankets to two homeless men living there before continuing. Meanwhile, Sophia, with her laptop, tracks the shark. She arrives at the same place where the police were with the homeless men and only sees the dog barking at the water and none of the men. Her tracker alerts her that the shark is nearby but moving away. Soon we see the animal's fin moving away. We understand that the two men were somehow taken by the shark. Morning arrives, and we see that Mika spent the night at the police station. Adil arrives and interrogates her about why she was diving in the river, questioning if it was because of the car. Because there is a shark in the river, but Adil doesn't believe her and tries to get her to tell the truth. Suddenly, an officer arrives, announcing an emergency. Sophia continues tracking the shark and arrives at a point where a father and his daughter are playing, throwing pebbles into the river. Sophia, with her tracker, noticing that the shark is nearby, yells for the girl to get away from the water. Her phone rings, and while she answers, we can see the animal's fin in the background. Moments later, we see Sophia being guided by a police officer to where Mika is with Adil. Mika says she was the one who asked them to call her, so Adil shows them something. Sophia sees the remains of a human body, one of the homeless men from the previous night, and confirms that it was caused by a shark. Adil takes Sophia and Mika to the commander's office, who doesn't want to believe that the damage to the man was caused by a shark. Sophia confirms it is, as they have been tracking the animal for some time. Therefore, the commander orders them to dive and verify if they are indeed dealing with such an animal. Adil prepares with his team to dive, and even with Sophia warning them not to do so because she had the tracker and could locate it from the shore, Adil and his team don't listen. After some insistence, Sophia manages to go with them on the boat to use her tracker. Ben follows from the shore as the boat quickly heads to the specific point. They arrive at the track point, and Adil prepares his team to dive. Sophia notices that the shark is stationary a few meters away and comments that, due to the river's depth, which does not exceed 5 meters and 70 centimeters, they should be able to see the animal. Adil then says that it's because there might not be a shark there, again showing his disbelief in such a thing. Confidently, the team then dives into the water. The team ahead is startled by a large dead fish, with its sight partially devoured, and the environment becomes tense. While the team is still exploring the area to find the shark, Mika makes another display of stupidity. She asks Ben to disable the shark's tracker signal, believing the agents will kill it. Reluctantly, Ben does so, and the hungry shark's signal disappears. The shark surrounds the team but does not attack. Fearful of what might happen, Sophia asks to pull the rope and bring the officers back to the boat. Fortunately, no one is injured, but the officers claim to have felt something big down there. Adil checks the recording made by the sonar and realizes that there is indeed something down there, and it is a huge shark. He suspects Sophia, accusing her of putting his team in danger, believing that she somehow made the animal's signal disappear. Sophia is upset by this and leaves the boat with a bloody nose, and as she leaves, she sees Mika nearby watching them but then runs off. Finding this behavior strange, Sophia runs after her and follows her to her base. Sophia scolds Mika for what she did, but Mika gets agitated and says that the reason Sophia's team died was her own fault. Sophia is again shaken by memories of the past and tells Mika to stay out of it. At the police station, Adil tries to convince the commander to close the locks and suspend navigation to capture the shark, but the commander refuses to do so because there are only a few days left for the triathlon, an important local swimming sport. She talks about the weight of having invited journalists from around the world to cover the Olympics on the Seine. She then says they will double the personnel and put a surveillance team in place. That same day, Mika does a live broadcast on her social media, talking about the shark being in the Seine River and that they need to save it. She recalls the issue of human impact on the animal world and that they need to change the world in this regard. At that moment, Adil finds Sophia and apologizes for being so rude to her earlier and invites her to talk to the city's mayor about what to do to protect people during the Olympics. Once in the mayor's office, they try to convince her to cancel the competitions on the Seine due to the shark, but the mayor refuses. She says too much money was spent to ensure this event and orders them to find a way to get rid of the animal. Sophia, Adil, and the commander then prepare to capture the shark. Sophia says that since they lost its tracker, they will have to lure it somewhere. She suggests luring the creature between the Sully Bridge and the Austerlitz Bridge. Once they sedate the shark, they will take it in a tank to the Arsenal port lock so that the Oceanographic Institute can take care of the rest. With the plan in place, everyone quickly starts to act. While showing Adil the shark sedation procedure, Ben arrives calling for Sophia. Ben reveals that the shark Lilith is currently swimming through the old catacombs beneath the city. She says she is there without Mika knowing because she thinks Mika is going crazy, wanting to guide the shark using sonar to the sea. Ben says she knows where the shark is because she managed to reactivate its locator tag. She shows Sophia how she did this, and they confirm that the animal is indeed where she said. Ben reveals more, saying that Mika is already there with several other activists who follow her. It is getting dark when Sophia and Adil head to the location with a police team. The team arrives at the entrance to the old catacombs and enters through a damaged access point that Mika and the others used as well. At that moment, Mika and the others are preparing to do something. Ben is also there and tries to get her friend to give up on the idea, but Mika is determined. They then launch a sonar into the water to scan the area, and Mika enters the water. Adil, Sophia, and the others locate where the activists are, and Adil, after calling for reinforcements on the radio, delegates what each team member will do to get everyone out without causing a commotion. While Adil tells everyone to leave with the police officers, Sophia asks Mika to drop the sonar and get out of the water immediately. But before she can do anything, the shark arrives and swims slowly around Mika. Everyone is surprised to see a second, smaller fin. They deduce it as Lilith's pup, which seems harmless at the moment and approaches Mika, who even touches it. Mika claims they need her help and that they are harmless. Despite Sophia's insistent pleas for Mika to get out of the water, the girl does not leave. At that moment, the two sharks become agitated and swim rapidly downward. Sophia yells for Mika to get out, saying the shark is going to attack, but the foolish girl still remains. In a tense moment, Adil jumps into the water to try to get the deranged girl out, but she moves away and is instantly bitten by the big shark, which devours her along with its pup. Everyone panics and starts desperately fleeing the area, and some fall into the water. Some lose parts of their limbs, while others continue to run frantically. In this chaos, Ben ends up falling and gets kneed in the head, causing her to pass out and consequently drown. When one of the officers is grabbed, Adil tries to shoot the animal with his gun but fails, and his friend is dragged away. The officer manages to resurface, even with one arm ripped off, and tries to hold onto his colleague's hands but is soon bitten again and this time killed. Several manage to escape alive and are already in the hospital, seeing the terrible scene of so many injured people. Sophia recalls dark moments from the past. Adil tries to comfort her for the guilt she is feeling when suddenly an officer arrives asking them to follow her. They return to the scene of the incident and see that the shark pup is now dead in the water. At a laboratory, Sophia examines the animal's body and talks about it having adapted to freshwater. When asked what the animal was doing in Paris, Sophia says they must be using the city's catacombs as a safe place to breed, feeding peacefully in the Seine and then returning to the sea. She adds that Paris is one of the few cities offering this ecosystem. Sophia suspects something and, upon opening the animal's belly with a scalpel, is shocked to discover that it was pregnant, as she states that the shark, based on its dentition, is only a little over 2 months old. Finding this unbelievable, she explains that the animal reproduces by parthenogenesis, meaning it does not need a male to procreate. Sophia believes she was mistaken about Lilith's species and says it is an entirely new species. She asserts that if they do not eliminate them, they will continue to reproduce and colonize the oceans infinitely. In the mayor's office, they talk about the incident. The mayor says they are less than 24 hours away from the triathlon competition and does not know what to tell the news. Sophia becomes indignant at the city's highest authorities' indifference and says they need to cancel the competitions. With that, The mayor orders Sophia to be removed from her office and tells the police that the army will handle security. Later, during an interview, the mayor talks and answers questions about the shark and the same but does not make it clear whether it really exists or not, completely downplaying the terrible incident. At a cafe, the commander, Adil, Sophia, and the police team complain about it all. However, Adil and Sophia do not want to give up and decide to do something. They gather the entire police team, including the commander, and explain their plan. After everyone agrees, Sophia shows them what to do, and Adil introduces two colleagues who are explosives experts. He then explains how the plan will be executed. They start taking action with various devices, including bombs that will be activated, and they will have little time to leave the site before the explosion. Adil and Sophia jump into the water at the incident site, as that is where the main nest is likely to be. They go to the bottom and follow a narrow passage with a soundwave propagator that mimics the sound of sharks to keep them in one place. Meanwhile, on the banks of the Seine, several army soldiers redirect some people and others patrol the waters, while the competition swimmers are in position to start. Many people are anxiously awaiting the competition, unaware of the danger lurking beneath them. The mayor arrives at the scene and continues to assure the press that there is nothing to worry about regarding sharks in the Seine and that everything is completely safe. Adil and the others arrive at the specified location and request confirmation of the position from the team above on the boat. They are a bit delayed and ask for 2 more minutes. Below, the tension rises, and Adil decides to light everything up. To everyone's total amazement, they see not just one shark but hundreds of them. This new situation is far beyond what they expected, but they have no choice but to continue. Meanwhile, the mayor starts the triathlon competition, and hundreds of swimmers dive into the river, unaware of the immense danger they are in. Sophia approaches the nest center and activates the sound propagator while the team above starts taking action. They will open a side passage so that Adil and Sophia's team can escape the nest in time, which would not be possible if they tried to go back the way they came and would be killed in the explosion. However, Sophia realizes that the mother shark is not there. One of the specialists finishes installing the bombs, and that is when things start to go wrong. Suddenly, he is attacked and devoured by several sharks. The bomb control slips from the poor man's hand, and Sophia asks the rest of the team not to make any sudden movements. One of the officers, thinking they have no escape, decides to activate the bomb but is also killed by several sharks. Now only Sophia and Adil remain. Sophia grabs a propeller and drags Adil away as fast as she can to get them out of the area, when the bombs explode, violently launching them. Outside, the two officials field the explosion and anxiously wait for the diving team to appear. A moment passes, and suddenly Sophia emerges, pulling Adil. They pull Adil onto the boat, but Sophia, for some reason, decides to go back. She looks at the destroyed exit, when suddenly she is surprised by Lilith, who is still alive and comes out of the rubble. The animal ignores her and heads elsewhere. Sophia returns desperately, warning the others that Lilith has escaped. Suddenly, the enormous animal jumps out of the water and brutally launches the boat with the team into the air. Everyone falls into the water, and the furious shark quickly devours one team member with a single bite and then brutally splits another in half. At this moment, Adil and Sophia manage to reach the overturned boat and climb onto it, seeking the minimal safety it offers. They see the shark heading toward the swimmers, attracted by the noise of their kicking legs and arms. The creature drags the competition guide net, making its location known. With this, Adil and Sophia decide to follow the animal to somehow warn all the swimmers of the terrible danger. Lilith approaches quickly from behind, biting one by one. From the shore, the competition judges see the animal and signal everyone. This is where the general panic begins. On the shore, people are in shock, watching the scene, and the press is filming everything, while Lilith feasts on the easy prey. The army arrives and starts shooting where they think the shark is, while the commander orders them to cease fire due to the danger of bombs in the area. Adil and Sophia, still a bit far, also shout for them to stop shooting, but to no avail. The shark, with its great speed, manages to avoid many bullets. Adil and Sophia are pulled from the water when, amidst many shots from the army officers, they hit a spot where there are still several old World War II bombs placed there by the Germans. Inevitably, one of them explodes, causing a chain reaction and exploding the others nearby. Numerous massive explosions happen quickly, destroying bridges and generating immense pressure in the water. This, besides launching manhole covers into the air, also creates a huge waterspout that sweeps everything and everyone along the riverbank, including the mayor and some other local authorities. However, the worst is now evident, as the entire adjacent area is partially flooded due to the destruction of the water level containment. This worsens even more when Sophia notices that the nightmare with the sharks is not over, as she sees several sharks now swimming all around while the city is submerged in the now polluted waters of the Seine River. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you in a new movie recap.